afternoon, brothers. I'm JK, your brother in the struggle, on my way back from the gym, running some errands. Today I'm going to talk about another reason why so many brothers are stuck, not just in their readings, but in various other areas of their life. So if you're one of those guys who finds himself confused about why you are knowledgeable about certain things, let's say your career, you're really good at your career, you graduated from an institute of higher learning, you've done well in your career, you got many certifications, you're relatively successful, then you find that in things which should be basic in your life, like controlling your sexual behavior, being a little bit more disciplined, being regimented, having a routine, sticking to certain things for a long period of time, you're just confused about why you're not able to do that. So I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why. This is going to sound very basic, but it's something that I've observed over the years. And take it from me, I'm not the smartest guy out there, but there are a lot of things that over the years, in my late 20s and early 30s, I figured out. But I noticed that a lot of people had a lot of alphabets before and after their names. Couldn't figure out. People who were smarter than me and who had higher IQ. One of the big differences is an unwillingness, or rather being intimidated by certain material and studying certain material. Like literally, gentlemen, you should have the ability to go into a library or go on Amazon.com and pick a book of any topic. It doesn't matter what the topic is, and study that. That is an important part of being literate. And one of the reasons why I was able to end my out of control behavior, one of the reasons why I'm able to show many men the way to end this behavior in a year and a half to 2 years, while there are all these fancy rehabs and there are all these therapists with PhDs who will tell you that you're going to live with this behavior for the rest of your life. Highly educated individuals, they tell you that there's no cure for this. Anybody who tells you there's a cure is scamming you. Yet we literally have hundreds and hundreds of men who have ended this very same behavior in a year and a half to 2 years. One of the reasons I was able to do it for myself, first of all, was because I was willing to build a very, very strong foundation. And it's not that these individuals who are highly educated out there, these other therapists and counselors and doctors and so on, and even yourself, if you're watching this as an intelligent individual, it's not that you're incapable of doing it or that you read the wrong books. It's often that you read the right books but in the wrong order. And what I mean by this is when your foundation is built on a certain type of education, on certain type of books, those are the ideas that become a part of your value system. I've spoken about this when it comes to the religion of recovery. You may not have seen it, but there are just certain things, certain types of information that you have consumed that really changes your view about certain things. So many guys believe that, like an addiction is a disease and you're going to live with it forever, and it's always based on trauma. It is 100% based on something which happened to you in your childhood. I'll give you another example of information that you got in, whether it was from reading or watching the news, or even I've spoken to some highly educated addiction medicine professionals that, like smoking cigarettes is a horrible thing because it gives you lung cancer, and there are absolutely no benefits to smoking cigarettes, right? None at all. But they're like, there's no benefit. There's none. It's just people literally putting poison into your body. It's often people who consider themselves to be highly educated that say things like that. We all know that drinking alcohol is putting a foreign substance into your body. We also know that alcohol, not everybody knows, some people know that alcohol is a depressant. We also know that alcohol lowers your inhibition, which allows people to engage in certain social activities, which might be a requirement for their socialization, or which may be a requirement, a lubricant, for them to have certain experiences in life. With cigarettes, we know that it causes lung cancer, but most people don't want to accept the fact that nicotine is a nootropic, which means that it actually enhances your cognitive abilities. There's also a downside. So we can argue about the upside and the downside, but I'm using these two as an example because we demonize certain things simply because society has fed us with that information. And the books you read are going to be biased towards the studies that show that all these things are horrible. You're rarely going to find a book which deals with addiction recovery from alcohol or from nicotine, which will mention the benefits or dedicate more than one chapter to it and say like, hey, there are actually positive aspects to this. Here's my point. Those of you who might be getting lost and going like, what the fuck are you talking about, JK? If you do not have a thorough understanding of the positive and the negative impact of pornography, of sex, of alcohol, of certain other substances, of cigarettes and so on, if you do not have a thorough understanding, you cannot expect to end this behavior. The brothers in our program do something that many other programs do not do. They accept the positive impact of pornography on their life. What does that mean? It means that they quite literally sit down and they realize, okay, you know what? When I was younger and ignorant, pornography was there for me because I didn't have any coping strategies. Pornography was the thing that helped me deal with stress. Pornography was the thing that taught me about sex, albeit in the wrong way, but I didn't know what a vagina looked like. And I would never have known from the diagrams or what a penis looked like going into one unless I watched pornography, right? Pornography comforted me when I didn't have any other coping strategies, when shit was just bad in my life. So it did these wonderful things for me, and I felt great. I learned about myself sexually. But then, you know, at a certain point, it outlived its usefulness and it started causing more harm than good. It's important, gentlemen, to acknowledge this, to acknowledge that other side of ourselves, why we actually crave it. But the problem is, with a lot of the material out there, it strictly demonizes this. Alcohol is evil. Drugs are evil. Evil, evil, evil. And you know the problem with that? When you see something as evil and you have a whole bunch of educational and literary material that is skewed towards all the negative impacts of it, then you end up having systems which come out of that which work against the brain, not with the brain. The brain is neither bad nor good. The brain didn't get addicted to that because it likes being addicted to things that are not good for it. The brain started with alcohol, with cigarettes, with pornography, because there was a positive benefit. And you cannot try to force the brain through willpower to just like, yeah, it's totally negative. Let's completely ignore the positive aspect of it. You cannot, because that is not the nature of the brain. And because they are forcing the brain to do something which is not capable of doing, they cannot give you a solution. That is the reason why you cannot find a solution. That is a reason I'm sharing this, so that you can use this as an example to look at other areas of your life where you may be doing the same thing, right? They cannot give you a solution, so they tell you that you're going to live with it forever. Or they tell you that some entity in the sky is in charge of all of that, and that you are absolutely powerless. There's a place for religion, there's a place for faith, there's a place for spirituality in your reboot when it comes to ending a compulsive behavior, right? But you must accept the science of it first. And that brings me back to the material you study. If you like to just listen to like really airy-fairy, light, basic, motivational, no-fap bullshit from people on YouTube, people who are unwilling to dive deep and understand the science of this, not one part of the science, but every aspect of this, to understand human behavior, to understand various modalities of therapy, to understand biochemistry and the neurochemistry that is involved in this behavior. If you prefer to just listen to like the very basic habit change stuff, brother, you are not going to change your behavior. And many people read a lot of books, they show up, they tell me it's always the popular books they read. Oh, Atomic Habits, oh this, like all the popular shit you read. Go ahead and pick up a science book. go to Amazon and pick up a book on science, pick up a book on neurochemicals. And you know what's going to happen when you do that? When you listen to that material, when you read that material, it may be very difficult for you to understand at first. And it's okay. That struggle that you're going through mentally, it's the same struggle that you go through when you go to the gym and you try to lift progressively heavier weights. It's okay. It's the stimuli that your brain needs to learn. And that is something that I've done. That is something that I've kept on doing. There's unfortunately a downside to that. The downside to that is that the vast majority of men don't want to hear any of that stuff. They want to hear the easy stuff. And so, as much as I despise, honestly, I like sharing stuff, right? This is not the material that I would ideally like to share, but I feel like if I shared it, most guys would be like, oh my god, I don't want to know what serotonin and oxytocin do. I just want you to motivate me to like overcome my relapse, bro. Right? So I package it and put it out to you guys in a way that you can digest it. And I've broken down the system we have within the program in a way that you still learn all these things, but at a pace that doesn't make it boring. At a pace in which you can actually see real-time and real-world results from the work you're putting into the program that actually change your life and change your brain. So gentlemen, my point with all of this is, do the hard work, and it's okay to study the hard things. Here's how this applies to other areas of your life in case you're wondering. If you're struggling with your finances, alright, I have dyscalculia, however it's pronounced, right? So I can't do math, my brain just can't do it, I can't read calendars, I can't multiply, there's so many things mathematically I can't do. And I accept that. But I do read the hard books on financial literacy and balancing a checkbook. And if you watched me read these books and do like really try to struggle with really basic mathematical concepts, you go like, this dude's an imbecile. It's a grown-ass dummy right here. And it's okay, but I push myself, and I've seen myself over the years start mastering these concepts, slowly start pushing myself, and I've understood them. And to be quite honest with you, it's benefited my life tremendously, right? So if you struggle with your finances, sit down and understand, how does the economy work, right? If you live in a capitalistic society, understand, like actually go pick up a book and what is capitalism? Understand how it works. If you're struggling with a hormonal issue, don't just go to your doctor and go, tell me what to do. Pick up a book at least. Read the book, it'll be hard. Understand the endocrine system. Like learn, how does it work? Right? There's so many aspects of your life, and that's why you went to school. That's why you became literate. Right? They say knowledge will set you free, but we've become a generation of men who are just fucking lazy. You want other people on YouTube, and I listen to some YouTube stuff once in a while, and I come back to my team, and I'm just like, yo, most people are talking bullshit. They're not even reading books. They're just coming and copying off other people, getting the cliff notes from different places, and then you guys show up, and you're like, yeah, this person has 100,000 subscribers, so they must know what they're talking about. I'm going to listen to it. It's going to sound good, and I'm going to apply it. I've told you guys again and again and again, even with my material, brothers, assume bullshit. Assume bullshit till you have experienced it yourself. Right? If you don't have the time to go and read a book about something I say, then that's fine. But if you trust me enough, at least implement it first. If it works, okay, cool, interesting. Come back to that person's YouTube channel, try to implement it. Okay, not sure, ask me. But don't just take what somebody says as gospel. Right? So gentlemen, the hard things, the things that you struggle to understand, sit down and put in the work to understand. Don't be lazy with this. I know it's hard, but you've got to push yourself mentally. In the porn reading system, this is called developing the mental reading capital. So literally, we actually have a reading list within our program. And there's a very specific curriculum for the reading material. You have to read one book first, then you have to read another one, and another one, and another one. If you can't read the book, all the books have an audio version. of them so you can listen to the books. It doesn't matter whether it's challenging or not, right? Gentlemen, you have to do it. The last thing I want to say is that it is pretty sad that there's some people who have rewired their brain to the point that not only can they not read a book, they're like, literally, I don't like reading. So they're not dyslexic, they're just like, I don't like reading. That's some lazy fucking shit, dude. What the fuck is wrong with you? How can you get out of high school and just say, I don't like reading, right? I don't like reading. And you know, that's not where the problem comes in. The reason why there was so much anger behind that fuck that I just dropped some seconds ago is because those same people will send me messages and say, hey man, it's really difficult. I don't like reading. It's really difficult for me to listen to your videos when you're not moving. Could you please walk around in the park or something when you're talking, because there's more stimuli so that I can pay attention. Fuck out of here. Who the fuck are you? You want me to go walk around in the park for you, random? Because you are so overstimulated that you can't listen to a video where I'm sitting down in my car or in my office. You need stimuli, so you want me to get the fuck out of here. Are you even thinking? Right? That's the sad part. There's so many people who are just, whew. You got what I'm saying, guys, right? So do the hard work, read the hard books, and things are going to become so much easier for you to understand. Your worldview, the way you view everything, is going to be so different because you have a deeper understanding and you have a stronger foundation. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you haven't already, if you don't have an accountability partner, using the link in the description, go ahead and join our Facebook group. Get yourself an accountability partner. You can get access to some of our worksheets. I tested one of my worksheets in the Facebook group first before we fully develop them, so you get access to some pretty cool stuff, which comes from a lot of studying and a lot of research on my part. So if you like worksheets, if you like doing practical work and seeing results, our free group is a great place to be. Now, there are some requirements to join our free group. You just can't come in and we'll let you into the group. Questions you have to answer. You can't have some weird Facebook profile that doesn't have your face. We won't let you in. We need to see who you are before we let you into our group. We turn around, I don't know, 1,500 to almost 2,000 applications to join our free Facebook group a week. So people are always trying to join, and we literally have a team of assistants whose job is just to screen and let you guys in or not. So please answer the questions. If you don't answer the questions, we won't let you in. Aside from that, gentlemen, the year is coming to an end for us. At Porn Reboot, our new year always begins on December 1st. The reason it begins on December 1st is because it allows all of us to build some momentum on our goals, which we would traditionally set in January. It allows us to find out whether some of those goals are realistic or not. It allows us to make certain adjustments to those goals. By the time January comes, we just have so much momentum. We don't need to use willpower to like push ourselves through January and end up February and March with none of those goals accomplished. So you are more than welcome to join us. One of the things we're doing is we are going into a new season of our biochemistry challenge, which is, again, it's a physical and a mental challenge where we transform your body, we transform your mind, we help you understand different neurochemicals and different hormones. But the idea is to just get you physically and mentally ready to perform at your peak in 2022. As you guys know, we live in a very crazy and unpredictable time in the world. This is not a time for you to be fucking around if you're fucking around other years. So you're more than welcome to join us. There's a link to get on a call and speak to one of our team members to find